Are you guys still good to come over on Christmas night, by the way?
As far as I know, I can't think of anything that impede me coming over.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Do you know if Sierra and the girls will be able to make it too, Nathan?
I am almost positive.
Cool.
Like, I can double check later, but yeah, I've heard nothing else to the contrary.
Well, I know I promised you the other day that I would stop buying stuff for your kids, but do you remember it's from the 90s?
Yeah.
I bought them each one of those.
Is it a re-release or is it a 1990s one? Because
It's a re-release. I did see some on there, but they were still in the packaging, and I was like, I wonder if the battery would still work on those. So I bought like the reboots, and they're really cool. I'm going to edit this out because I know Penny, you said sometimes we'll listen to this, but they come in a little. I got a red one and a pink one, but I don't know which one would want which. So.
Oh no, I was like, Penny would definitely want the latter on that one.
The pink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's all about the pink.
Gotta be careful. She's just in the other room.
Like I said, I'll edit that out too. I won't. Yeah, we're good. Okay.
It was like I'll drop too many hints.
Well, Brayden, I know that we've been texting, so I know you started your holiday shopping. What's your status report on your Christmas shopping this year?
I got like 3 or 4 things left. I kind of panicked between Thanksgiving and now. And I just was like, yeah, they'll like that. And just like kept hitting buttons.
It's like everything's like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, don't like that.
It's like that one. That one. No, this one over here. That's it. That'll be the perfect one. Oh, that's all good.
Yeah. Like scroll for like 2 minutes for somebody. Don't like that.
Well, what about you, Nathan? Are you making any progress with your holiday shopping?
Oh, absolutely not. There's like 2 people that are taken care of, but we were just talking earlier because we just compile a list. It's like, all right, we'll get this, and this for them, that one, this and this for that one, and eventually we'll just hit the cart button and get it all underway. But it's usually about midway through December, so there's at least 3 presents that on Christmas Eve we're waiting by the window for. It's like, come on.
Oh yeah,
I've been in that situation before. Yep.
Oh yeah, Christmas Eve. There's always something that shows up on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, because we've not learned a lesson about that.
Well,
we're teenage children, and we still, it's like procrastinate like hell.
This year, I am one of the people that I usually hate because I'm basically done. But I took a secret from, I think Jennifer actually taught me this a long time ago. I know she starts earlier than I do, but I started Christmas shopping in September. So I bought like 2 gifts a week for people so that by the time December came, anything that's last minute or any of the other things that I needed to get, I could grab. And this is why I said I'm one of those people like I used to hate. I even have most of it wrapped and under the tree now.
Oh, nice.
See, that must have been something she learned from Mom, because Mom was the same way in that she would buy everything through like August, September, and October, except for me because I like spooky stuff. So she would get everything that I got like on clearance the 1st of November.
Oh yeah, right after Halloween, they had those really good sales.
No, I got like all the Halloween clearance items for Christmas. It's like, look, you can decorate your room with all this, all the bats and vampires and skeletons. Thanks, Mom.
Well, hey, speaking of presents, and before we really dive into our topic today, have you guys ever regifted a gift? You don't have to say who for or what you regifted. I'm just asking in general.
Does regift mean it was gifted to you and then you gave it to someone else?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, like without even.
I think that I've maybe given away things that were like my belonging or something, maybe.
Okay, that's different.
Think I've ever. I don't think I've ever regifted.
No, that's one of those like endearing things where you're like, this was precious to me. Maybe it'll be precious to you. No, I'm talking about like somebody gets you like a 30-foot, gardening hose, and you're like, oh cool. I'm totally gonna give this to somebody as a birthday gift in about 3 months.
Or let's say that there's someone who is unexpected that shows up, like they brought a +1, and you don't want anybody to feel left out, so you want to make sure they get something. Or someone gets you something that you weren't expecting to get you anything, and you kind of pull something that was gifted to you and regift it, because I've been in that situation before and I've done it. But the reason why I bring it up is because I know this person who I have bought gifts for the past few years for Christmas. And last year, I found out through a mutual friend that this person has a tote in her closet. She tosses gifts that she wants to re-gift. if
So
it's
she's got like
something
a trash bin for gifts.
basically, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. If she doesn't feel like it's worthy of her, I guess she tosses it in there to regift to other people, which kind of says something about the people that she's giving it to, or her opinion of those people. If she says, "I'm too good for this," but it'd be good for you. Um,
Oh, that's a wonderful image. It's like, oh, how gauche. Here, Janine, take this.
I have decided that I'm still going to give her something for Christmas this year. Only I'm going to take a Sharpie and actually write her name on the product. Good luck regifting it, you filthy animal.
Like where you write their name on the inside of a book. It's like,
Exactly.
dear so and so, I hope this means as much to you as it did to me.
I
That's
don't
half
know,
the books
though.
I buy on eBay.
I was about to say I've bought a lot of books at yard sales before that had people's names written in them.
Yeah. Grandpa loves you.
Okay, well, I'm really excited about today's topic because, as you guys know, this is one of my favorite shows from the 90s, and it's possibly my favorite show of all time, and that is That 70s Show. And today we're going to talk about That 70s Show, Season 1, Episode 12, The Best Christmas Ever. And the episode aired on December 13th, 1998. In the episode, Eric wants to throw his own Christmas party in the basement. Red has to work at Bargain Bob's on Christmas Eve, and Kitty is trying to survive the visit from her mother-in-law, Bernice Foreman. The episode opens with the gang hanging out in their usual haunt, the Foreman's basement. They are decorating their artificial silver Christmas tree and watching the Dr. Seuss classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Donna comments what a big butt the Grinch is, and Fez agrees by saying nothing says Christmas like a big green Grinch ass. How long had it been for you guys since you had, I guess, watched any episodes of That 70s Show, let alone this one?
I remember trying to get Cassie into it like a month or so back because I was like, you're almost going to get into high school. This is essentially how it was for me. I have no idea what it's going to be like for you. I don't know. It was like That 70s Show. It was like we went to high school with those people.
Yeah, that's one reason why I think I still watch to this day. It's like you feel like you got to be a fly on the wall.
Supposed to be taking place in the 70s. I'm like, I totally get this.
Exactly. It was very relatable to the 90s, and a lot of the trends from the 70s made a comeback in the 90s, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
I had two brief flings with That 70s Show because whenever I think I first started high school or I was wrapping up middle school, I got kind of into it. And there was some certain time slot that I was used to seeing reruns at. And I really liked it. And then I just stopped watching it for some reason. And then after high school, I had another brief fling with it whenever I had some friends and we would hang out together and smoke the devil's lettuce and we would watch That 70s Show.
Really feel like you're part of the circle then.
Yeah, it was a 4D experience.
Man, breaking the wall on me.
The fourth dimension being smell.
Well, after Fez comments on the Grinch's backside, Donna asks Eric to hold the ladder so she can add a beer can ornament to the top of the tree. Kelso asks Eric what he's doing for Christmas Eve, and Eric states his parents, Red and Kitty, are having their lame annual Christmas party where everyone gets just a little too drunk and the neighbors get a little too comfortable with each other underneath the mistletoe.
Classic party, man. I mean, it's the 70s.
He's lucky they're not having a key party. It is the 70s, you know?
Yeah, it's practically the ice storm at this moment.
It's like, oh, look, a fishbowl. Let's put our keys in and see what happens.
Which we may cover that episode later, but there is an episode where Red and Kitty accidentally end up at a key party.
Oh, that was classic. That was so good. Like, I can't find ours. I was just like, I like how like it goes around the room and everybody's kind of got that, cliche teenager outlook to Christmas. Like Jackie was always about presents, and Hyde's like, oh man, it's like Christmas is for the bourgeois. And Fez is completely oblivious, like Christmas. They do not have this in whatever the hell country I'm from.
Well, Donna is still standing on the ladder, and she asks Eric and Hyde, how does it look? The guys gazing at Donna's backside declare the view is very nice. Donna points to the tree and says, guys, the ornaments are up here. The guys unenthusiastically reply, oh, looks great. And as you just said, Jackie is talking about how much she loves Christmas, the joy, the cheer, the shopping. Hyde sarcastically replies, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Jesus was going for." Jackie quickly attempts to
Totally.
defend herself, declaring that she gives too. Every Christmas, she and her other cheerleader friends give gift baskets to the unfortunate. Donna corrects Jackie, "I think you mean less fortunate." Jackie replies, "Okay, whatever, bums." So you see how much she really cares underneath it all.
Oh no, it's like Mila Kunis just plays Jackie so well in moments like that. Perfect cast, not just the teenager side, but the adult side. Like the parents are well played.
Which brings
Oh
me to
yeah.
my... Oh, go ahead, Braden.
No, I was agreeing about the parents.
We're all in agreement because the next thing I was going to say is my favorite sitcom mom, Kitty Foreman, rushes down the stairs into the basement, gleefully asking the kids why they are watching cartoons because Holiday Inn is on. Now, I know this is a classic movie, but I've never seen Holiday Inn. Have you guys ever seen Holiday Inn?
No.
Oh, I'm sure like 100 years ago, but I remember watching all of those black and white holiday classics, but it's like at this point they all just seem to be Bing Crosby holiday specials.
The only one that stands out for me is It's a Wonderful Life. That's the only one I can remember really
Which
well.
has no music really.
No.
But it's it's one of those that I almost have to watch every year. Like right about the time you're having that Christmas nervous breakdown, you need Jimmy Stewart to bring you back.
There is. Have you seen Meet Me in St. Louis? That's one
don't
that I
think
like.
so.
But that one covers the whole year, so it's like it covers like all the holidays. The Halloween scene is awesome
Really?
because it's the kids going out for Devil's Night, and they're all dressed up in like costumes that like were handmade, and they're like just setting havoc to the town. And their parents are just like encourage it. They're just like, go outside. And then the children all meet up outside, and they're just like it's Devil's Night, like flat out.
Wow. Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I recommend Meet Me in St. Louis. It's great.
Kitty changes the channel and begins to sing along where the treetops glisten. She realizes she doesn't know the words, but continues anyway. La la la, listen.
Which we all do with Christmas songs.
We sure do. Kitty asks Eric to help her get the rest of the Christmas decorations, and the two disappear into the storage room in the basement. Kelso begins talking about his favorite Christmas gift being the light bright. While the topic of gifts is up, Hyde says, "Cash is the best gift, so you can get whatever you want," and then attempts to fish for details from Donna on what she might want for Christmas. Donna replies, "It doesn't matter how much a gift costs, as long as it's personal and sentimental." Jackie then says to Kelso, "You know what's personal and sentimental? Diamonds." Seconds later, Kitty and Eric storm out of the storage area as Kitty runs up the stairs and Eric declaring they'd found the Christmas rat.
As is tradition.
We cut to the foreman's kitchen where Kitty asks Lori if she is seeing anyone special at college. Lori says that she likes to date around, and Eric calls his sister a slut while trying to muffle the word with a cough. Eric then asks his parents if he can throw his own party for his friends in the basement the night they have their annual party upstairs. Kitty says no, but Red says yes, because all Eric does is sit around and mope at their party. Eric then asks for some money, and his dad tells him he wants Eric to pick out this year's Christmas tree, and that whatever he doesn't spend, he can use at his party. Eric tells his father that he hates to haggle with the salesman at the tree lots, but his father insists haggling is a part of life. He tells his son he is giving him $40. Eric quickly tries to haggle, asking for $50. His father tells him to knock it off, and then tells his son to make sure he picks out a good tree. Kitty, still trying to cling to the traditions with her youngest child, asks Eric if he has to have his own party, can she at least make him punch and cookies for it? Eric declines. "How about just punch?" Kitty asks, sounding more desperate. But again, Eric tells her no. "Well, you can't have a Christmas party without punch. That's just insanity," she shouts.
Which is true.
It's very
true. It is not a party until the punch bowl comes out. I just want to point out the fact that Red gave Eric $40 in the 1970s. Like, I remember in the late 90s, $20 was a big deal. It's like, how much? No. A tree cost you $6.
Right. There's a part when they say something like Hyde said something about 6 and some change. He's like, if I gave you to say $6 and some change, and I was like, that must be the some writer must have looked at the inflation rate. That must have been like $20.
Oh no, I was like, there's a lot of weird stuff like that where you hear numbers back then. It's like, I don't want to play Price is Right here. But this is like bounties in a Tarantino movie where it's like, I don't think a human being is worth that. And in other cases, I feel like that's too much for a human being.
There's another episode that just doesn't line up, and it's one where Lori asks to borrow the car and she wants to go out, and Red gives her $20. And then she asks if that will cover gas, and Kitty says to give her another 20. It's like 20 for gas in the 1970s. Is she filling up like all of her friends' cars too?
That's what I'm saying. It's like when I was in high school, I could fill up my car from empty for $16.
I graduated at the end of the Iraq War, so I remember all my senior money went to gas. It was like if I wanted to see my friends, it was like, all right, put 50 in the car.
Oh, I remember those days too. Yeah, it's like just listening to the Red totally fork over the money. It's like, here's $40. Get yourself a tree, and don't blow the rest on whatever the hell.
We did see Red and Bob together at Bob's store, Bargain Bob's, where Red has been working part-time to earn a little extra money for the holidays. We've all been there. Bob asks Red if he wouldn't mind closing the store for him on Christmas Eve so that he won't be late for the Christmas party being hosted at Red and Kitty's house.
Very douchey of Bob, I have to say.
That doesn't surprise me. That's kind of Bob's go-to. Red asks why they would even be open on Christmas Eve. Bob says, I'm going to blame Bob Pinciotti for the reason that we all have to work on Christmas Eve now. So
he's like, hey, there's the possibility that somebody's going to have to come in, and I want to get every dollar I can milk from this community on Christmas Eve.
Essentially, because Bob says to imagine a guy on Christmas Eve driving home from work. Red declares that no one works on Christmas Eve. Bob continues his story. All of a sudden, he realizes he forgot to buy a gift, drives through town, and sees we're the only store open. So he comes in and he buys a refrigerator.
As we all do. I mean, it's almost second nature.
So this guy's insane? Red asks sarcastically. Not for me to judge, Bob declares. Like Nate says, he'll take his money either way. Red agrees to close for Bob on Christmas Eve, and then Bob tells Red he'll have to wear the Santa Claus suit. Red says, you got me there, Bob. Bob tells Red he's serious, and Red states once more, even more gruffly this time, no, you got me there, Bob.
I'm wearing your damn Santa suit, Bob.
He is not wearing the Santa Claus suit.
Which, I mean, is legit. That's the stance I take. So it's like mad love for Red Foreman.
You ain't that talkative, Brayden.
Oh, I mean, I'm just reliving the episode.
He's like just got his feet kicked up, looking at the ceiling like, yeah. It's like watching it all over again.
It is. I never really watched a ton of that. For me, this episode got better as it went along. Like, I liked that scene, but I don't really know what to say about it particularly. The juicier stuff kind of happened as it went along. And it's just his part-time gig he just picked up recently, apparently, too.
Oh, yeah, because the brewery was it the brewery at that point?
The plant he worked
something
at.
to the... Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm not too familiar with the whole storyline, but he does say something to the effect of like, oh, thanks for like the job. Like, it doesn't seem like the kind of thing he's expecting to do for a long time. It's just kind of like a brief thing he's doing here.
Well, that's what I think is like in the beginning of that 70s show. I think Red was on furlough, and I think he still is even during this Christmas episode, and he's just like kind of scabbing it on the side working for Bob Pinciotti.
Okay.
He really doesn't put up any kind of fight like, Bob, let me get this straight. You're wanting to leave here early so you can get to my party, but you want me to work late. So I'm here instead of at my party. It's like, I appreciate you getting that, Red.
Right. And isn't he supposed to be at the party, his boss? Wouldn't he like be at the party with them? Isn't he at the party later?
Bob? Yeah, Bob is asking Red to close the store for him, his store, so that he can go to Red's party.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's the 70s. I'm gonna go hang out with your wife and my wife.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having like a retail like acid flashback right now.
Meanwhile, Kelso, Eric, and Hyde are on the side of the interstate cutting down a tree so that they can save the $40 Red gave them. Hyde is off camera answering Nature's call as Kelso is using a saw in an attempt to cut the tree down. They risk being caught as a car drives past them but quickly duck down out of sight. Kelso declares he is done cutting the tree and tells Eric it's his turn. Eric takes the saw and then asks Hyde why he had to write his name in the snow so close to the tree. Hyde apologizes as Eric continues sawing away at the tree trunk.
Now, this is totally a Christmas memory. I was like, how many times do you remember us going out and stealing a Christmas tree off like TVA property?
Oh, you guys did that.
Wait, we did that?
I remember Dad doing it. But it was like,
I
the
remember.
early 90s when everybody in town knew Dad.
Your dad was the mayor, though. Your dad could do whatever he wanted.
But I totally remember like going out to the side of the road and like Dad just driving down the highway, being like, "That's a good looking one." And I remember particularly one year a trooper stopped us, and my dad just goes over and starts talking to this guy while I'm sitting in the cab of the truck, not even putting one and one together. Hey, we might be getting in trouble. No, my dad knew everybody. So he goes over, talks to the trooper, and we made off with a tree.
We went to a Christmas tree farm one of the last Christmases with him. It was like on a hill. It was really serene. I think it might have been like snowing a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was one of the last times we went out and like cut down a fresh one, but it was a farm designed for that. And going and stealing a Christmas tree off the side of the road in Tennessee was one of my favorite memories. But I guarantee the statute of limitations is up and Dad is long in the ground. So come and get us, Compass.
They will. This is our last episode. The rest of the episodes are just Michael. Yeah.
Okay. We cut to the boys unloading the tree back at the Foreman house. Kelso excitedly shouts they now have $40 for presents and beer. Then says they shouldn't.
Is great.
It is
beautiful. Yeah.
It is. Kitty even comments on that in a moment. He says they shouldn't even buy presents, that they can have even more money for beer. Eric tells Kelso to quiet down because he sees his mother, Kitty, walking towards them, who is also joined by Donna's mother, Midge. Kitty is very impressed with the tree and even declares she believes it's the prettiest tree they've ever had. As she touches the pine needle, she states how fresh the tree is, just as a bird flies out in her direction and Kitty hightails it back inside the house.
He's like, the freshest tree in town.
It's like, how would the bird survive the whole drive home? But it's like Brayden said in the last one, it's Hollywood, so I'll believe it. Well, Hyde takes this opportunity to ask Midge what kind of gift he could get for a girl who is Donna's age. She tells him Donna likes a perfume called White Shoulders, which is $12. Midge tells Hyde that it's not just for your shoulders. You can wear it anywhere, like your neck or at the mall. Hyde asks how much a bottle of crappy perfume would cost, and Midge says that she'll ask her husband Bob's mother, implying she's cheap.
He acts like $12 is like crazy expensive, but they're just like throwing away $40 on Christmas trees. You
could just ask for some of the change.
Well, it's the dad throwing away. I want to see real quick what was $12.
Brayden's going to do the inflation. Oh, I was curious. What site did you use to find out what your draft number would be?
If you just Google draft lottery, it comes up under images.
Okay.
So $12 and we'll say 1975. $12 in 1975 was $31 now. That's a cumulative rate of inflation of 3,088.
So if they had, so hey, do some more math here then while you're there. They had $40 in their pocket. So how much did they actually have?
Oh, okay. So the dad had,
or gave, how much did he give them?
He gave him $234.
And this man is on furlough.
And he didn't think that he could get a tree for that and have his party.
It's like, for that kind of money, I could get a tree. I would get like a keg, a sack. I mean, all they had to be like, hey, it's like Foreman's throwing a $200 party. Let's get our asses over there.
I only saw like 5 cans of beer. There was hardly any beer there.
No.
I think Eric might be the worst with money in the whole world.
I was just like, I could soundproof the basement and throw a full-on kegger for that kind of money.
So if you guys didn't notice, they are supposed to be drinking, I made a note of it, hold on, Old Milwaukee. Yeah, they're supposed to be drinking Old Milwaukee beer, but the cans are the Modern label, or would have been the Modern label for the time.
It's all commercialism.
When you watch it as many times as I do, they do have a lot of genuine products from the 70s, like in the laundry room, but in the kitchen, there are some things that have UPC labels, which did not come out until the 80s. So I ruined some of the Hollywood magic for us. Sorry. I've watched it way too many times, though. Like I said, I've probably seen every episode at least 25 times. Too many times.
There's a lot of that stuff where you just catch it in the background. Like, hey, I remember my parents talking about that.
There's even a scene where I can tell you where the You can see the boom mic come down into the camera frame. But that happened a lot in 90s sitcoms, and I think it's because they really didn't count on those sitcoms being on DVDs or repeating on streaming services.
Well, of course not. At that time, I mean, was Mork and Mindy or any of those old sitcoms from back in the late 70s even on DVD or VHS?
Maybe, but I assume that's something that you would either have to be very lucky to find in a store, you'd have to order it online somewhere.
I guess the late 90s it would have been when Kolchak the Night Stalker came out on VHS. It was like, are you serious? I never thought I'd see these outside of the Sci-Fi Channel.
I remember when all of the Freddy Krueger series came out on VHS, and it was like $130, and I almost bought it. And then I waited until I got a DVD player, and the DVD set you would think would be more expensive, but it was like $79. It was like $40 cheaper than the VHS collection.
A lot of those VHS collections back in the day were pretty nutty. It's like those Universal VHSs where it's like, oh yeah, we've got like 30-something movies. Yeah, they cost about $29.99.
Okay.
Sorry, getting back into it.
Sorry, I got us off track too. Eric's sister Lori sees the tree and immediately calls her brother on the fact that it is stolen. Eric tells his sister he haggled. She asks with who, Smokey the Bear? Eric tells Lori she has one to talk because she's flunking out of college. Lori nervously asks how Eric knew that. He states he didn't. Lori tells him to shut up. Eric tells Lori to shut up, and they go back and forth with this a few times before both of them saying okay, as if they had spoken in some sibling foreign language and had agreed to keep each other's secret.
I hate Lori, but she's such an integral part of that family dynamic.
I prefer this Lori over the Lori replacement in later seasons.
Agreed.
I prefer her. We cut to Kitty, Lori, and Grandmother Foreman in the living room decorating the tree, which it's Marion Ross who plays Grandmother Foreman, I believe.
Like
Grandmother.
So role.
Yep. Oh, I love it. I love her. She's the epitome of what you would envision a villainous mother-in-law being. So,
just like Caddy and just smoking like the super chief.
Yes, and there's another episode which I won't get into, but it's an episode where Kitty tries to quit smoking, and Grandmother Foreman gets in the car, and she's like, "I heard you quit smoking," and she's like, "I did," and she's like, "Good for you," and then she lights up a cigarette and takes like the longest drag I've ever seen and blows it in Kitty's face.
It's like 20 seconds of nothing but
Yeah. And you see the cigarette literally like burn down.
Ash just forming. I'm like. It's like Lucky Strike non-filters, and I could never touch that.
Okay, sorry. We cut to Kitty, Lori, and Grandmother Foreman in the living room decorating the tree. As we just said, Grandmother Foreman played by Marion Ross. Grandmother Foreman is criticizing Kitty's ornament layout, stating she put two red ornaments too close together and tells her that the antique ornament that has been in Kitty's family for years is hideous and to hide it around the backside of the tree. Eric enters the living room and Lori asks him to help decorate the tree. He declares he cannot because he is getting ready for his party. Lori asks why the little drummer boy gets to have a party, and Eric states, "Because I asked you, stupid sister." Lori tells him his comeback wasn't even clever, and Eric replies he doesn't have time to be clever because he's throwing a party, Miss Dumb Girl. I love their banter.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
That's kind of the Christmases I remember. Yeah. The doorbell rings and Grandmother Foreman opens the door to reveal Jackie and her cheerleader friends who are there to see Michael Kelso. Grandmother Foreman replies, "Sorry, there's no Michael here. You have the wrong house," and slams the door in their face.
It was wonderful.
We cut to Jackie and her friends sitting at the kitchen table with Kelso, Hyde, and Fez. Jackie wants Kelso to drive them around to deliver the gift baskets to the less fortunate bums, as she says. Mm-hmm. Kelso says he'll do it, but they had to be back in time for Eric's party. Fez asks Jackie's friends if they'd like to join at the party. One girl replies, "I don't think so," while another says, "Well, we are supposed to be helping the less fortunate," and the third girl replies, "Well, okay." Like it's charity to come to their party.
I guess. I mean, it's pretty much Toys for Tots, right?
Hyde then pulls Jackie aside and she says, "If you want to make out with me, the answer is probably no." I never ever liked
Excuse
I
me.
watched that for like probably the first 12 times before that clicked with me, and I was like, wait, what did she just say?
Just the subtle things you just get snuck in and you don't pick up on immediately.
He says that's not what he wanted and asked Jackie for advice on buying a gift for a young girl about Jackie's age. Jackie immediately says, "Oh my God, it's Donna." And Hyde says, "It's not Donna." Jackie says, "Okay, so not Donna. How much do you have to spend?" Hyde says, $6. Jackie shouts, "You don't deserve a girl like Donna for $6." Hyde says he isn't trying to get Donna, and Jackie replies, "Good, because you won't for $6."
So insulted for Donna.
Hyde sends Jackie off on her merry little way, saying, "Okay, thanks, bye-bye now." Fez asks Hyde what he is doing because in his country, if you hit on a friend's girl, you'd be hung from the tallest tree. Hyde says, "We aren't in your country, Fez." And Fez replies, "Right, so good luck with Donna."
See, and I'm glad Fez caught on to that because it seems like Foreman's completely oblivious to the fact that Hyde's, trying to snape his girl. And which it really kind of pissed me off. I remember watching this first run because I liked Hyde initially. He's like, I really identified with that character, but then all of a sudden he starts being kind of a dick.
No. Especially, I don't know if you know about the recent legal troubles that Hyde has had, but it totally changes the way I look at any of his scenes.
Yeah, I try to like separate that a little bit just because it is hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
Usually it's a little easier for me, but maybe it's because I'm so I'm not as super familiar with all the ins and outs of that 70s show that it does get kind of hard sometimes. And he's being a total creep here.
it's just like you don't want a friend like that. Yeah, it's like we later see how it plays out, but I guarantee you the original writers were just like, let's make Hyde a douche and see if he can snape Donna away from Eric. Or I might be giving too much credit to people. It's like, no, we had like a 5-season arc already planned out.
Well, we cut to grandmother Foreman and Lori returning to the Foreman residence where Kitty is cooking Christmas dinner. Grandmother Foreman quickly lets Kitty know she made some changes to her grocery list because she didn't like her taste in dip. Lori goes to get herself some punch, but Kitty declares that is for Eric's party. She tells Lori to take the tonic out to the bar and to make sure they have plenty of rum and vodka. Grandmother Foreman, overhearing this, states, "All that rum and vodka. Kitty, you have a problem." Kitty says, "It's for the party, Bernice." Grandmother Foreman replies, "All I know is that my Red didn't start drinking until he met you." And Kitty says, "Well, I didn't start drinking until I met you." Kitty realizing
Fantastic grandmama banner.
it really was. Kitty realizing what she said giggles nervously and shouts, "Merry Christmas!" As Kitty and Grandmother Foreman head back to the car to get the remaining party supplies, Lori pours an entire bottle of alcohol into the punch for Eric's party. Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho.
See, what gets me here is like they act like it's such a villainous thing.
And that would be a cool big sister thing to do for your high school party.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like she should have like, hey, by the way, enjoy that punch. Wink, wink. And he's like, what a cool big sister. There's an entire bottle of Bacardi's in this now.
Until she doesn't let them in on it. And then that's the
Yeah.
douche move right there. That poor punch bowl sat there all night and only the squares were drinking out of it. And they were drunker than the people drinking the beer.
Oh, the poor soul that mixed. Getting crossfaded in here.
We cut to Eric and Donna in the basement. Eric hangs mistletoe over he and Donna's head. Donna rolls her eyes and asks, "Mistletoe?" Eric declares, "It's really more of a decoration." Donna asks, "Really? Is that a fact, neighbor?" They begin to kiss, but Lori and Kitty bring the punch and cookies downstairs for the party. Kitty tells her children they are the best Christmas gift a mother could have. As she hugs them, Eric and Lori slap each other on the back of the head. It's like a perfect vision of like family dynamics with the sibling rivalry. Kelso, seeing Lori, jumps over the sofa, hitting the coffee table and causing the punch to spill. He attempts to flirt with Lori as Fez enters with a bag full of Christmas gifts. Lori offers to pour Fez some punch, but he declines and says if she would like, she can bend over and put his gifts under the tree. Kelso is immediately upset by this because he thought they had all agreed to no gifts. Eric and Donna tell him that he said no gifts, and what is Christmas without gifts? Kelso realizes as everyone exchanges gifts that he will need to get a gift for Jackie or she'll kill him. Looks over and tells Lori, declares he'll be breaking up with Jackie, and Lori throws him a sarcastic look. We cut to Red at Bargain Bob's watching the little drummer boy on the television sets being sold in the store. Kelso runs in quickly. This is the idiot Bob has foreseen. He tells Red that he's looking for a Christmas gift and asks Red if he knows that they are the only place open in the entire town. Red begrudgingly says, "Yeah, I know." Kelso then asks Red.
Dante, you know?
Kelso then asks Red what he can get for $17. Red tells him they have some really nice heavy-duty extension cords. Kelso declines and then asks how much one of the refrigerators is.
It's like, you were the one they prophesied about.
This is the hardest I laughed in the whole episode.
It was pretty funny. Back at the party, we see Fez hitting on Jackie's fellow cheerleader gal pals. He offers them beer, but they decline, saying they would just like some punch. Fez asks if they would like to chase down that punch with some nice beer, but again, the girls decline. Back at Bargain Bob's, Kelso and Red are playing Pong using one of the consoles and televisions for sale in the store. Red tells Kelso he is kicking his ass. Kelso tells him it was a good game, but he really has to go so he can get to Eric's party. Red tempts him with just one more game, and Kelso agrees.
Yeah, because they're playing Pong. I mean, that was like PlayStation back in the 70s. Yeah.
Really liked that kind of bonding moment between Michael and Red, even though it was because Red was kind of forced into that situation because he was working and he wanted the company. It was still kind of nice to see that softer side of Red.
Mm-hmm.
It's like two men on an island. It's like, I can't leave here. Please don't leave me.
Exactly. It's like, I don't really like you, but I'd rather you be here than to be alone. Back at the party, Fez has the ladies hanging all over him after they've had a few glasses of the party punch, which, unbeknownst to them, was spiked by Lori earlier. The girls are giggling and asking Fez to say things in his accent and to talk really slow. Jackie, who has also been chugging the punch, runs over and hugs Fez, declaring he was her friend first. Hyde, Donna, and Eric seem mystified by this. Kelso enters the basement, runs to Jackie, and hands her a brown paper bag, declaring Merry Christmas. She opens the bag and shouts, "Hot rollers! And with steam!" She shows the gift to her tipsy friends.
I stop paying attention to Fez. I got rollers with steam.
The doorbell rings. Oh, excuse me. Upstairs, we see Grandmother Foreman playing Christmas songs on the piano as Kitty, Midge, and Lori sing along. That's also kind of a nice moment where you finally see that Grandmother Foreman is getting along with Kitty. She must have been drinking on some of that rum and vodka.
Hey, whatever helps. It's Christmas, you know?
Exactly. Whatever gets you through the holidays, people. Red finally arrives at his Christmas party to be greeted by good old Bargain Bob himself, who asks how the night went. And Red says he sold one set of hot rollers and a Pong game. So I'm assuming Red bought the Pong game for himself.
Yeah, you couldn't get the hot rollers and the Pong game for $17.
The doorbell rings and Midge answers the door. Two state troopers ask if she is the owner of the 1969 tan Oldsmobile station wagon in the driveway, and she says no. They ask if she knows who the owner is, and she says she does. The officers stand there a moment as Midge smiles and stares blankly back at them. "Can you get them, please?" the officers ask. "Sure," Midge replies. She then, I laughed at that part so hard too.
Midge is so wonderful.
She then summons Red, who is told by the state troopers that they believe his vehicle was used in the unlawful removal of state property, and they would need to confiscate the Christmas tree. Kitty, in shock, begins walking towards her tree, saying, "It's already decorated, but but no!" And she throws herself in front of the tree. That would be me. That would be me at Christmas.
I was actually thinking that would be you.
We cut to the basement where Hyde gives Donna her Christmas gift, which is a framed photo of the two of them in the 5th grade, and Donna tells him it's very sweet. Eric, threatened by this, repeats Donna's, yeah, so sweet, then tells her he's getting her gift, and he got her for Christmas. Donna opens it to reveal White Shoulders, which is Donna's favorite perfume. Donna kisses Eric, sits the perfume down, and goes back to admiring the photo Hyde gave her. Oh my God, you can see my training bra through that, Donna disgustingly says. Hyde laughs and says he remembers that training bra. Eric says he wishes he had gotten her something more sentimental. Hyde says it's nothing. Donna says that it's not nothing, that it's very thoughtful, and it's the sweetest gift anyone has ever given to her. She then kisses Hyde on the cheek. Seeing how uncomfortable this makes her boyfriend Eric, Donna quickly adds to her sentence next to the perfume. Eric nervously says, well, I wrapped it myself and know how you like things wrapped. Red, standing at the top of the staircase, observing the party, confronts Eric and tells his son, before he explains all of the beer, he would like Eric to first explain why there are 2 state troopers in the living room confiscating the Christmas tree. And I'm just imagining them dragging Kitty across the living room for some reason. Eric confesses that they had lifted the tree from the side of the interstate. Red informs Eric his party is over, he is grounded, and he wanted what was left of his $40. Enter Kelso, who admits to Red what Red already knows, that he had spent the money on Jackie's hot curlers earlier at Bargain Bob's. Jackie, very drunk at this point, runs and hugs Kelso to thank him again for her gift and asks, you got in trouble for me, Michael? She hiccups and then finishes her sentence, oh, I love you, Michael. One of her other drunk cheerleader friends shout tearfully, oh, God bless us, everyone. Jackie then reveals that Hyde loves Donna. Hyde defensively denies this and says that Jackie is crazy. Red asks if the girls have been drinking. Eric tells them they had only drunk the punch his mother had made. Red tastes it and declares it's lousy with hooch.
Oh, no, you got the wrong inflection on that. He looks at Anger like, this punch is lousy with hooch.
Thank you. Hyde says, see, she's drunk. That's drunk talk, referring to Jackie's confession. Red tells Jackie he will take her and the Sob sisters home. He tells Eric the rest of the beer goes in his refrigerator. He tells Donna her father is upstairs and suggests she join him. He tells Hyde to help Eric clean up and tells Kelso to go home. Fez desperately asks Eric to do something because Red is taking away his women and chases them up the stairs. The trio, now alone in the basement, Donna gives Eric and Hyde their Christmas gifts and gives them each a kiss on the cheek. She wishes them a Merry Christmas as the two awkwardly stand silent beside her. Donna, stressed by the tension, leaves the room as Eric and Hyde open their gifts. Hyde asks Eric what he got, and he said an ID bracelet with his name on it. He asks Hyde what he got, and Hyde reveals that he got tube socks. Good! Eric shouts excitedly. I mean, tube socks are good. In the tag, Red and Bob talk, and Bob thanks Red again for attending to the store. Bob and Red toast to a Merry Christmas as Bob asks for a hug. Red declines, but Bob insists that it's the 70s and men can hug. Red says no to Bob again. Or says, no, Bob, they can't. Bob tells him it's Christmas and throws his arms around Red, who reluctantly hugs him back. Then Bob jokingly shouts, hey, look, mistletoe, causing Red to jump back as they both laugh. End of the episode.
I can't remember if this is like the big reveal where Eric's like completely aware that Hyde's trying to steal his girl.
I think this just puts the thought in his mind. I don't think it's until I don't know if there's a Valentine Day episode in season 2 or if it's already happened in season 1, but that's where he really knows.
I just remember like a lot of really sneaky episodes like that. But like at the end, it's just like you get the ID bracelet for Eric and the tube socks for Hyde. But had she known that she was going to be getting a really awesome Hyde present, would he have only got tube socks? Bum, bum.
Now, see, for me, like I said, on a personal level, that 70s show is one of my all-time favorite shows, and I've rewatched the entire series a ridiculous amount of times. But season 1, particularly this Christmas episode from season 1, is a favorite of mine, and I do watch it every December, multiple times until Christmas. To find out what kind of cultural impact that 70s show had on the 90s, 2000s, and even today, you would have to look no further than Netflix for the revival series, That 90s Show. which focuses on Eric and Donna's daughter Leia, who visits her grandparents Red and Kitty in Point Place, Wisconsin. She finds her own friends to chill with in the basement, including Michael Kelso and Jackie Burkhart's son Jay. So, with that 90s show on Netflix, I would imagine many young viewers are taking a step back even further in time and are watching that 70s show.
I like to think so.
I mean, who doesn't like a good origin story? And as kids of the 90s, if we found out there was something that was a prequel to something else, we would definitely want to watch it.
Kind of now that I think about it, it really was. I'm trying to think how to map this out in my head. It's like we had that 70s show, which was a throwback to our parents' day.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that they had Star Wars and we had the prequel series.
Mm-hmm.
And now here, like in the 90s, we were watching that 70s show. And here in the 2000s, like this new generation is watching that 90s show. I feel like this is all falling apart in front of me, but it's just a bunch of numbers.
You feel old now? I feel really old now. Like we said, we feel like we were part of the gang in the basement. We said that earlier in the episode, and they were all teenagers then, and now they're the parents on the show.
It's like I like to think that my daughter's like watching that show, or if we had Netflix, she would be watching that show and be like, "Oh, I totally get what they were talking about." And then she'll go back and watch that 70s show and hopefully not that 80s show.
I think that only lasted like 4 episodes, right?
Oh,
I know that's about all I got to watch of it.
I was not really into that 70s show at the time when that 80s show came out, so it wasn't a big letdown for me. And like pretty much after that 70s show was wrapping up that I actually got into that 70s show. So I'd already saw the message boards and everyone saying that 80s show is horrible, don't watch it, don't waste your time. But I did watch one episode, but I wasn't heartbroken because I hadn't invested all that time into that 70s show while it was live on television and waited for this anticipated series and then was just let down. So
I liked it, but I had a crush on the Mohawk girl.
Skylar something, I think is her name. She's on Grey's Anatomy now, I believe.
Is she really?
I think so. I'm pretty sure she plays Meredith's sister. I haven't watched that show in like a decade, but yeah.
Well, she was definitely the reason I kept tuning into that 80s show. But I was like, young listeners out there, when you get done with that 90s show, watch that 70s show. And then they'll come out with that 60s show. And maybe spring forward to another series.
Hey, don't touch that 60s stuff because the Wonder Years pretty much covered that.
That is very true. It's like that was their throwback.
I love the Wonder Years. Don't get me started on that. So
I was actually just reading that. I guess when Freaks and Geeks started, critics called it that 80s show. That
might have been things. I totally see that.
Yeah.
Because if you watch like the Wonder Years, that 70s show, Freaks and Geeks, you're at least taken care of through 85.
Oh,
and then I guess you could start watching Stranger Things or something.
Yeah.
Well, later this month, we will have a very 90s podcast holiday special, and we want to hear your favorite memories from 90s Christmas past. We want people of all ages, so whether you were a kid, a parent, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, you were in college or newlywed just starting your life, what have you, we want to know what your experience was. So email us at the 90s Rewind Report at gmail.com, and our producer Amos will make sure we schedule a time for you to be in the episode. And anyone who appears in the episode will get a special holiday gift. If you don't want to appear, you can still send us an email with your story and we'll read it aloud on the podcast. So our email again is the 90s Rewind Report at gmail.com. We're also going to be giving out a few more gifts this month to some lucky listeners. So make sure you're following our socials, which is Insta, Facebook, and TikTok at the 90s Rewind Report, and on X just at simply 90s Rewind Report. So be sure to tune in next week where we'll be talking about Jingle All the Way. And this month, you may be getting a second episode each week. No promises, but it will be a special treat if we can make it happen. Nate, would you like to send us out for this episode?
Hello, nostalgians. This is Mr. McAllister, the father. I'd love it if you all came back again to the 90s Rewind Report for more nostalgic fun. Credit cards? You got it.